In my humble opinion, no brand has done more to lift itself from the doldrums of despair more than Wilson over the past few years. A once great club company with a rich, leather-bound history found itself cast adrift only really making box sets. Now there's nothing wrong with box sets, but they're a far cry away from the major winning heritage which they once enjoyed. But it's been making a resurgence, and what Wilson want to do this year is throw the proverbial cat amongst the pigeons with their D9 releases. So in today's video, we are going to be trying out the Wilson clubs here at the studio, but also heading out to the golf course facing off against Andy Carter, who has a full set of Titleist clubs. And then here in the studio, I'm going to be testing the driver against some Callaways, and then just seeing what the irons are actually like. One of the irons I'm trying is very, very long, and the other one is just buttery soft. Now allow me to set a scene. A few years ago, Cobra brought out their F9 driver and they did something very special. They produced a really, really good driver, looked around at the competition and thought, you know what, we're going to sell ours for about $100 to £100 cheaper. So all of a sudden you had the F9, which was performing as good as everything else, but was cheaper. And surprise, surprise, everyone said, I'll have the Cobra. And all Wilson are doing with the D9 driver in particular is the same model. So they're bringing out a driver which they think stacks up against the best out there, and then making it about 100 quid cheaper than anything else out there. And if the performance stacks up, then that's obviously pretty good news. So if you're going to be spending 300 quid on this new Wilson driver, what are you going to get for that money? Well, the first thing to say is from the top of the club, it looks very, very good. So I've heard in quite a few reviews, people saying that the crown of this club looks very similar to Callaway drivers. And I do agree, it also looks very similar to a Mizuno driver on the crown. On the bottom, it's got a kind of Titleist vibe going on. This is in 10.5 degrees, it's got a weight at the back, it's not got an interchangeable shaft, and this is a 10.5 stiff shafted driver. So it's not exactly to my spec, but this is what Wilson sent over. But for an accurate comparison, I'm going to be putting it up against a Callaway Epic Speed driver later in this video. Only slight annoyance with this driver, it's definitely printed the face graphic on a bit. It's a bit on the wonk, which is annoying. That gives it the feeling of being a little bit rushed. I'm sure it's just this single mistake, but yes, quality control is something that does need to be looked at. Got a Tensai blue shaft in. This is a shaft that I really like, and it's just got a regular Tour Velvet style grip. But for a composite drive, you know, this is a blend of carbon and titanium. That's still pretty good value. Yes, we need to test it first, but it's looking promising. So let's get out to the golf course, introduce you to Carter, get playing this 9-hole match before bringing you back into the studio and testing out these clubs. And now we get out to the golf course where the Wilson clubs will be put into the fiery crucible of competition. And my competitor today, as well as the mega long, mega tough earth course here, is Mr. Andy Carter, who has full Titleist.
Full Titleist.
Full Titleist.
Full Wilson versus Titleist.
Yes, this is maybe the title of the vlog. Thanks for that. Not just a pretty face, although look at that face. Yeah. So straight up match play.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, definitely away from the stroke play. No chance.
I don't know the order of the videos going out, but last time me and Carter played here, he literally butchered his hand.
I was basically ahead on score and he needed to injure me.
It's a lie. I'll go first while you're ready.
Yeah, you carry on that. I've got to strap up.
Nice shot. Let's go. Is that going to fly the bunker there?
Should do. If it doesn't fly the bunker from this tee, then.
Yep. Oh, it's going a bit right. I think it needs some D9's. 154, I only just cleared the bunker, but the lofts on these are pretty heavy. Into wind, 8 iron, easy one. I'm going to go centre of the green. Carter's literally like 40 yards ahead of me. Oh, be good. What's a shot? It even drew back. By the way, it sounded like I was hitting a ball bearing with a brick. However, it's gone close.
80 yards. That's quite a good shot, that. Quite Finchy. Sand wedge. Or not. Big bounce. Forwards.
Sharp.
Forwards, please.
Sharp.
I'm a bit rusty.
Sharp, mate.
Thanks. I'm just easing into it.
You're going to get beaten by the biggest irons on the market today. It's like a toaster with loft, what I'm hearing. That's basically what he's up against. You just go for that dustbin lid.
That's a decent putt.
Right, uphill, left to right. I don't have a Wilson putter, so the LAB.
That's probably one thing you did need.
I wanted to,
Yeah, I know. I was thinking
rub that right in your face.
Don't go after I've said that.
I could actually feel my face like relax into a mode of concentration that it's not been in. The last time we played, I put it awful. Oh my god, I was terrible. Anyway, all square.
Oh, yes, with the high necky fade.
I'll be alright, haven't it?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Now it's downwind this, so this is where my 10.5 could really come into play. As we've seen, it spins a lot anyway, so I just need to hammer it and
See where it ends up.
yeah, I mean that's my golf anyway. There's no real anything unexpected there.
It's got so high. What were the numbers? The launch must be like 25.
Second hole here is a par 5, and we've actually stopped here at Andy's ball. Struck it very well.
No.
Allow me to just stay there. Let me just count the steps. We've got a running step counter going on here. I think there's about 34 at this moment in time. Here is where the 10.5 degree D9 finished, and I struck it terribly. It was like toey, it's like a 90-mile-an-hour swing.
Toey goes further.
Sorry?
The toe shots go further. They're the best ones. I hit mine out the shaft.
Oh,
Right, okay.
I thought you got 250.
250, downwind, downhill by 2 yards. I got 4 iron. Oh, if that bunker wasn't in the way, that would have rolled up pretty knuckly. That was good. That. Greenside bunker.
Greenside.
Up
Mind
and
you,
down for birdie.
You said greenside bunker last time, and it rolled out to about 20 foot for an eagle. 20 yards further on, I'm going to use this absolute disgrace of a hybrid. 230, flying it all the way. Don't look at it. Don't. No, come on. Don't do it. I want people to stay watching this. Jesus. God. Don't. Just don't. Oh, it's a disgrace.
What is that ball flag?
Oh no, I'm that ain't seen the light of day again. Oh, done with that. Done with that, mate. Done with that. Got the sand wedge, not hit this off sand yet. Got to play like a, I don't know, maybe, yeah, back foot, under this, over that tree. Bit of check, but I've got to catch the ball clean here. I haven't. Oh, it's plugged as well. Oh my god. Shut up! Nice shot, mate.
Well, it's hard for normal people. Good spin.
I've one put and then right, well, if this doesn't go in, then I'll concede Carter his birdie. Well, you would be polite and say I've gone for that one.
Third hole, 1 up. Wilson is going to struggle on this hole because it's a 400 yard into wind tee shot, which if the driver's got as much spin as the last hole, he might be able to catch the tee shot. But 400 yards, fairway, bunker, right in the middle, pretty much at the landing point, and then it is all go from there, Finchy.
That is a low spinner, wow.
Well, it was a low necker.
Could have really done with it being a nice still day today. This is going to be a stinger.
It worked.
Worked, yeah.
It's a low draw.
Well, first shot with the staff model CBs here. I've got 156, but this is like a flying. If this ball doesn't fly out of this lie, then I've just straight at it. Pins kind of middle there. Well, hopefully it's flying. Go. Oh, it's been battered that one. Front edge, you just got battered by the wind as soon as it got above the trees.
Nice shot, Peter. From back there. Should have hit it a bit harder though. Oh, you lucky boy. That's what the bunker. That wasn't lucky, that was unlucky. Because the wind changed direction and pushed it towards the bunker. And it would have been a really good shot otherwise. It was into wind and then it went left to right when the ball was in the air. If you don't believe that, you'll believe nothing.
Right to left to begin with. Straighten up a touch at the hole. Just off the back foot, just a little dabber.
Oh. Oh. Never anywhere else but the hole. 2 up. And if you want to see Stroppy Pete, there he is.
So yeah, I was quite surprised actually on the golf course about the performance of the D9. It performed better than I thought considering the shaft and the loft and all the rest of it. But I'm going to put it now up against the Callaway Epic Speed simply because they look alike. I've got a regular shaft in the Epic Speed and I've also got a 10.5 head. Simples. So I'm using the quad for the data and the FSX software here. So I'm going to get quite a few shots with each driver and let's show you the results. Ball I'm using is the Vice Pro Plus. Now I'm not expecting absolutely massive distance here. Just going to try and keep my swing speed to about 110, something like that. Swing speed 110. If I up it any more than that, I'm just going to start to increase the spin too much and I'm not going to get as much out of it as I could do. Actually feels like really nice, like surprisingly nice. But this is again probably more of a mental perception because I associate Wilson with not having amazing drivers recently and this feels good. Okay, onto the Epic Speed, so we can have a nice little comparison here. Wow, that's a very, very different feel straight away. Ooh. Yeah, I like it. Oh, wow. There we go, it's a driver for me. So we're going to have a quick look at the data here to have a comparison between what you may expect from Wilson driver and premium driver in the Callaway category, in the speed category, in the driver category. And the first thing that really jumps out is that the Callaway was carrying further and it was going further distance. So 259 versus 268 and 279 versus 289 total distance in favour of the Epic Speed. But one of the key differentiating factors between the two was just the amount of backspin that was being generated by the drivers. Now you can see that that's a big difference because the ball speed with the Wilson on average 155 versus 154.7 with the Epic Speed, so we're talking very, very close. But if you have a look at the backspin, so 2936 on average for the Wilson and then 2397 on average for the Callaway. And there was a slightly higher launch angle for the Epic Speed as well. So basically the Callaway was launching the ball that little bit higher, but also spinning it less. Now, if you've got a similar swing speed and similar ball speed, that means that the ball is going to be carrying further. And you can see I actually managed to control my swing speed really well. So both of those were averaging at 109.5, but you can see here that I was pretty consistently around 110 miles an hour. So if we could control the spin a little bit more on the Wilson, we would have very similar drivers. But as it is at the moment, the Epic Speed won that particular duel. Okay, let's get back out of the course. Let's focus especially on the irons. We do have a problem here though. This hole's 200 yards back into wind and the club to hit that distance is that hybrid, which is never ever going to see the light of day again. So I've got a 5 iron, so I'm going to have to I don't know, hood it, hook it a bit. It sounded amazing. No, it's gone left, but these irons feel awesome. They definitely feel as good as like a Callaway Titleist, whatever iron you want to choose. I actually think these feel better than the MB Titleist.
Do you?
Yeah.
You wouldn't know because you've never hit these.
Oh, your strikes, you've never hit them either. Right!
That was middle.
You know what? It wasn't even that much of a Mickey take shout. It's on the next hole.
That was poor, I'll be honest. High, right and short. I've got a bit of a finger injury, that'll be why. Right, 58 degree, up and over the bunker. That flag is quite close to the back. Sit. Oof. Sit, now sit. What was the last thing I said? Bogey.
Like that was the D9 sand wedge. Felt a lot better than I thought it would. Want to put a mark on that?
Don't mind, yeah. Take it away.
Yeah, nice stroke. You can take that one away as well. Is that back to all square?
No, it's back to one.
Is it back to one? One, all square. One. Back to one. On to the D9 irons though, and what can I say about these bad boys? Well, behind the ball, they look absolutely gigantic. It's as if someone looked at the Titanic for inspiration and thought, I'm going to stick that on the end of a shaft and make a golf club out of it. It's got these power holes which they've used in the past, these urethane-filled power holes, I think I've said that right, and they allow the face to flex and get a bit more spring, therefore sending the ball out there a million gazillion miles. Now when you combine these with the lofts, I'm going to throw the lofts of the D9 irons up here, they are pretty low. So if you have a low lofted, high launching, low spinning iron, you are going to be getting ultimate distance. And because of the size of this club head, it is going to inspire a lot of confidence. I have not measured the data on these clubs yet. It feels very light in my hands and I can guarantee this is going to go a million miles. So this is a 7 iron. My normal 7 iron, I'm going to be looking at about 175 as far as distance is concerned. And I know straight away that this Wilson, well, let's see. However, when you tow it like that, it's really not going to go very far at all. I hit that so far off the toe, that almost missed the Titanic of the club head I'm hitting. Well, it's starting to get a little bit more of a consistency stride there, just slowed it down again. Look how straight that's going. But you get the point. This is going to be carrying about 25 yards further than my 7-iron. That is a huge difference. And you could tell by those first ones, I didn't strike them great and they still flew a long way. I think sneakily, these are the best thing about the D9 launch. I actually think these are great. Really, really good. So if you're looking for a long distance forgiving iron, well done Wilson, good stuff. Now whilst I'm excited about the D9 for golfers who are struggling with strike, Wilson have also got this iron. Now this is the CB Staff model. It is a forged iron, it's a much more compacted head shape, and I absolutely love this iron. And I think over the past few years when I've talked about Wilson coming back from the abyss a little bit, it's in the forged iron category that I think they've done really well. I've got an S300 shaft in these. I mean, it looks a completely different proposition behind the ball than the D9, it has to be said. Let's have a look at the distance difference here. Now, I've kind of sliced that, to be honest. Oh, see that? I mean, that is the difference. Like, I sliced that, I didn't strike that well, and it's gone, what, like 45 yards of difference between the Toei D9 first strike. Yeah, feels solid. Now, I'm not going to say that these irons are feeling as good and they're as nice as my Mizunos. You can see their carry distance was probably about 180, and they would be similar as far as distance is concerned to my Mizunos. They feel great, they're not probably quite as good as those, but they are going to be coming in a bit cheaper. And if you are in the model for a forged iron, I would recommend you give these a look. Back out to the course, let's see how we can finish up this match.
Oh, I'm all over the gaff.
Oh wow, that is
It's not wide to be fair, it's just a push that's just not really doing much else. Oh my god, I can't stop it going right.
Wider than mine.
And it started straight. Well, we are sociable characters.
Got 250 yards left into the hole, hitting off what I would describe as a launch pad. And I'm going to be using this 15-degree D9 fairway wood. I oddly fancy this shot. I shouldn't. Literally no reason to. Bunkers everywhere, big distance, but I'm feeling confident. I'm actually feeling it with it.
Yep. Well, it's done alright to be fair. Hi.
Hello.
Okay, so we got a little bit lucky to be fair. I've got a gap. 97 yards to the bunker. We're out.
Yeah,
Nice. Middled it as well. 138 from a fluffy lie. Oh, Birdieville.
Sit. Can't tell if that's perfect or it's flown. Oh, stop it. Oh! That was pretty. Right, this looks straight to me, so
There's no putt on these greens that are straight.
So I'm just going to go right to left.
Right, yeah.
Why not?
Go
right
to the
to
right.
left.
Hold it.
Not just right to left.
Not that. This is for the half, isn't it?
Yeah, I kind of want you to hold this to be fair after that shot.
Thanks. Or lag it in, as you say.
It's just a great up and down.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations, Andy.
Thank you, Peter.
So I couldn't grab the win for Wilson. But in summary, pretty impressed actually. Really like the D9 irons. I think they're great. I think the CB model forged irons, very, very good. I think the fairway wood and the hybrid for me were not ideal. And I think the driver performed really well. I mean, there were some issues as far as that launch and that spin control where the Callaway definitely did come out on top. But remember, this driver is going to be coming in for about 100 quid, $100 cheaper than most of the drivers out there at this moment in time. And that's always worth bearing in mind. But overall, I'm just glad to see that Wilson are back. And guys, get down into those comments below. Have you tried Wilson clubs before? What irons are you currently rocking? Are you a fan of the big, low lofted, high launching forgiveness? And what would you like to see me test next? Huge thank you for watching. Make sure that you like this video, give it a jolly good wallop, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as I said, follow me on my other social media platforms as well. And we'll see you down here next time.